Hello, everybody, and welcome to Feel Good Friday on Church at Home with Rachel. Today it is Friday the 4th. I am back in where do I live? Brandon, after being in Saskatoon. Tonight is a Wheat Kings hockey game. That's our junior team here in town that Rob and I have season ticket for. And it's date night in the Parker household, and it's all good. Today I would like to read to you another devotion. I really love this guy. Bear Grylls, Soul Fuel. He's amazing. Um, and this one's called Why So Serious? Now, if you are a fan of Batman, um, then you maybe remember the Joker. Well, I cannot do Heath Ledger saying it, but why so serious, Batman? My husband can do it really well, but he's not here. So, why so serious? Good question. The whole world is seeking happiness. Happiness is a good thing to pursue, but like a butterfly, often when we chase it, it flies away. So, how do we find happiness? The Bible shows us how both laughter and joy lead to an enriched life. Where laughter and joy are, so also there will be happiness. And the Bible reminds us that a cheerful heart is good medicine. Proverbs 17, verse 22. Let's not take ourselves too seriously. We need to laugh at situations and ourselves. Laughter is like an internal workout. It exercises our spirit and helps keep our hearts and minds healthy. By the way, my mom and dad used to say, laugh with people, not at people. That was good advice. And what about joy? What is it? Joy runs deep and is less transient than just happiness. Joy goes beyond simply a pleasing emotion. Joy brings peace, strength, and light. Joy goes right down to the heart of our very being. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 10. Laughter, happiness, and joy. These might sound like simple things, but don't underestimate their power to bring life and light to all around you. These qualities should be hallmarks of ours as men and women of faith. No doubt Jesus laughed a lot, and happiness and joy were at the heart of how he lived. Jesus knew great sorrow and great pain, but I often think that if we were to meet him in the flesh, part of what we would remember most would be his sense of fun and laughter. I like that. One of the joys of the work that I get to do, not so much lately, but when I was working as a parish priest, and it doesn't sound very joyful, but it used to be funerals. Um, you know, those moments, those services, those church services, when we gather as a community, we gather the family, and we hold them in love, and we remember the person who has died, and we celebrate their life. We often call them celebrations of this person's life rather than funerals or memorials anymore. And one of the great things I love to do whenever possible was try to dig a little deeper beyond the tears and the sorrow and ask questions that make the family smile. What are those? What's your favorite memory of your mom or dad? What did your sister love to do? Did she ever tell jokes? Did your nephew ever do anything really totally silly? Or did you do anything with him that was totally like you never want anybody else to know and you're going to tell me and I'm going to tell the world at this service? Because when we enter into a time of sorrow, we're in a time of very great vulnerability. When we allow ourselves to grieve, we allow ourselves to cry, we open up our hearts and we allow our hearts to be open wide for the healing of the Holy Spirit and for the release of all those things that are hard to hold on to. But when our hearts are open wide like that, they're also open and available to joy, to great joy and happiness and peace. And I have found that a sense of humor is the great leveler of all things. For those of you who might have seen me in action in a church service, especially for former parishioners, you know that I'm a klutz. You know that I get myself involved in what I'm doing, and I don't always pay attention to picking up my robes before I go up the stairs. Or, I might not always pay attention to the fact that the corner of the altar is right there in my hip, and the corner of the altar are not going to be friends when I walk right into it. But I do these things, and it's not because well, it is because I'm a klutz, but it's not because I'm being slapstick. I'm not trying to be a comedian. It's because I'm so involved in what I'm doing and enjoying what I'm doing that I don't notice those things. And they become moments of laughter, and that's perfectly okay. There are also moments when sometimes a good joke cuts cuts through the tension, allows us to just take a deep breath and say, it's all okay. It's all okay. And those moments of laughter, those moments of lightheartedness, those moments of letting the joy in Allow us to laugh and to smile and see the goodness of what's happening around us. I think I remember when I first started dating Rob, I used to say, like, "Are you happy?" And he'd say, "No, no, I'm never happy." He was a grump. Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street was more his style. Not really, but that's sort of the persona he puts off. And for those of you who have met him, you know what I mean. Once you get past the Oscar the Grouch persona, you realize he's an Elmo at heart. I hope to God he doesn't see this. But he really is. He loves laughter and he loves people and he loves to love people. But that's not how he puts himself over. That's not the original thing. But he used to ask me, "Are you happy?" I wanted him to say, "Yes, you make me so happy," and he'd always say no. And finally, he kind of clued in, I think, or just decided to put me out of my misery. And he said, "I'm not going to say I'm happy. I might say I'm content. Happiness is fleeting. And in this moment, I might be frustrated with my boss at work or the people that I'm the boss for, or I might be frustrated because the car is breaking down and we are out of the warranty or whatever's happening. I may not be happy in this moment, but I'm content in my life." And that's a pretty serious, that's a pretty beautiful thing to be aware of. We don't have to be serious all the time. We can be happy. We can be joyful. We can be giddy from time to time. But even when we're not giddy or happy all the time, we can be content. We can feel joy in the wonder of our lives. And so I think there is a balance between why so serious and you're over the top giddy. Somewhere in the middle, we can find that environment of content, that place where we can look at our lives and say, "Yeah, this was pretty good." Not 100 on the overwhelming, going to the roller coaster scale, and not down at zero where you're dug and dropped in a pit, but somewhere in the middle where you can realize that even when life isn't incredibly happy, and even when life isn't incredibly difficult, I'm content, and I don't need to be so serious, except when I do. So, how about you? Where is your level of contentedness with life this week? I hope this weekend is incredibly contented for you, and I hope it brings some joy and some laughter and some happiness. I will be watching a lot of hockey. There's games on Friday and Saturday, and I will be out with a group called From Shoal Lake to celebrate their ministry in their church on Sunday. Have a great day. God bless you. I will see you on Sunday for Gospel on the Go, and I will see you on Monday for Church at Home with Rachel.